I see you found our little hiding spot in the universe. Don't get too comfortable. This is a place where you will find those with an experience that's out of this world, or possibly deep within your life. I welcome you to the Oracles with James Tyson. Lean forward and listen. We will pull you into a supernatural journey with guests from around the world, each one experiencing some of the most extraordinary phenomena this wee planet has to offer. I wish to invite you to support the program through the Oracles with JamesTyson.com Patreon link. For as little as $3 per month, you qualify for a free monthly psychic reading, a past life regression, and exclusive access to our filmed interviews. Don't lower your guard. That's just the beginning as we give back. When I have reached 2,222 members, we will be giving away monthly trips to supernatural hotspots and conferences across North America. Don't run. I can see you. With a limit of 4,500 Patreon supporters, you will want to get your passports ready, as every third month, we will include paranormal conferences and tours in Europe and Australia. Visit theoracleswithjamestyson.com and click on the Patreon link. Where are you listening? That's the Patreon button at theoracleswithjamestyson.com. Now, here are the Oracles with James Tyson.
Thank you, Liam, and thank you for tuning into another episode of the Oracles with James Tyson. I am James Tyson, and tonight we have a special guest, Aida Milani. Now, you don't know her. She's not a famous person. She's not an author, but what she is an experiencer. She lives in an apartment building in a town in southwestern British Columbia up here in Canada called New Westminster. Now, New Westminster at one time was going to be the capital for the province of British Columbia before they moved it over to Victoria. Very old town, up the river from Fort Langley, which was an old Hudson's Bay Company fort, and they would go back and forth to Fort Vancouver down in Oregon, or what is now Oregon, and trade with the natives and the First Nations people up and down the coast. New Westminster, lovely place, right on the river, which runs extremely fast, and a lot of rail yards down where she is. And Aida also lives about a block from a hospital that's been there a long time, within a mile of a really old cemetery. Actually, on a site, there was an old Labatt's brewery at one point. And basically right over top of the railway tracks, which is a lot of fun, hearing trains going by every 45 minutes honking their horns. But that movement of the river, the Fraser River up here, right beside railway tracks, conducting all that electricity, the motion of the water. New Westminster is one of those places that, their spirits are all over the place, but they can really manifest in a place like that. Aida's issues or challenges is that since she moved in, she has been, I was going to say visited, but that's probably not the best way of putting it. She has been inundated with guests of the spiritual form. Now, Aida is a intuitive. She can see these, and these basically are spirits that she lives with. She knows them. She's given them names, or can identify them from what they look like. The tall guy with no shirt in one room, and a young girl that has been following around for most of her life, and creepy guys that crawl into bed with her and wake her up snoring in the middle of the night. And interesting. So what we're going to do with Aida, I'll give you a little bit of a background on what Aida is going to tell you about her history and what's going on in their apartment. And then I'm going to bring in Skeeter. Now, Skeeter is our Blue Moon Weaver. She is a hedge witch. Skeeter is an amazing psychic. And Skeeter and I remove spirits from people's homes all over the world for free. So if you do have something that you don't want to identify, give me a call. I'll bring you on the show. And Skeeter's not listening to this. This is pre-recorded. So I'm going to, after we talk to Aida. I will call Skeeter up on the phone, and she'll do her thing. She'll take a couple of deep breaths and show up at Aida's house and see what the heck is going on there. Aida, welcome to the Oracles.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Can you tell me a little bit about when you first started noticing spirits? We'll call them ghosts.
Well, my grandmother was very sensitive, and she passed away about 6 years ago. And the first time I remember ever seeing something where I knew that, wow, I'm having a weird experience here. I think I just saw a spirit. I was very young, and I would just see these blue orbs in our old house where I lived with my family. And slowly after that, I mostly started with hearing them. I would just hear them all the time. They would wake me up in the middle of the night from being so loud. And then it slowly, gradually turned into me fully being able to see them. And now it's just crazy where I see them and hear them, and
yeah, they're all over the place. When you say you hear them, when you were a kid, you heard them talking?
Yes, I would hear them talking. It would usually be in the middle of the night, and I would either hear, I would get waken up by these voices. So I remember one of the first times it was my name being called over and over again beside my bed. And I woke up, and instead of being super scared, I just wasn't scared. And I just sat up and I just listened, and I couldn't believe I was hearing my name being called like that. And
they were calling your name?
Yes, it was a lady, and she was softly going, Aida, 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 like that.
It's a little on the creepy side. I don't think that I would have a good time with that. And that was preschool, or were you in the first grade, second grade-ish?
No, when that happened, I was in high school.
Oh, that's even more interesting. You're a high school girl laying in bed and you've got people talking to you. Tell me, when did you move into the apartment you're in now?
It's been about 13 months.
13 months. Now, describe to my listener basically everything.
Okay.
What has gone on there?
Okay, here we go. Well, I've always had this one girl that at one point I thought she was attached to my sister because I used to live with my sister, and every single night I would think that I was staying up talking to my sister. And then in the morning I would be like, oh, remember what you said last night? And she'd be like, what are you talking about? And I'd be like, what do you mean? We were talking last night. She's like, no, we weren't. Crazy. And I realized that I was speaking to a spirit who really likes to pretend she's my sister. And I think she does that because she knows I'm not going to get scared and yell, get away from me, or freak out.
So let me just get this right. Aida, you've got a sister and you lived with her, and you'd be up at night talking to her about things, and then kind of like the next day say, remember we were talking about last night? And your sister would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes. That
kind of thing. And when did you find out that wasn't other than thought you were losing your mind, I guess, or your sister was, when did you kind of realize that was not somebody from, I guess, our earthly plane?
When I started actually telling the girl, you need to stop, because every time she does it, she's very tricky, this girl. She always really makes me believe that it's my sister. And even now, when my sister doesn't live with me and she shows up at night, I truly believe at the moment that I'm like, oh, my sister must have slept over last night. And then I realize I'll kind of click out of it, and I'll be like, wait a minute, it's you. It's not my sister. She didn't sleep over. Oh my God, it's you again. You're doing this again. But I think it was when I just started telling her, hey, you got to stop pretending. You got to stop tricking me. You got to stop pretending to be my sister. And that's when she started saying some interesting things to me.
Like what?
The one time I was like, you need to show me who you really are. And this is kind of creepy, but she told me if she showed me who she really was, I wouldn't talk to her.
Well, just unacceptable. Well, no, I'm kidding. That's kind of that leaves you with more questions than answers, like any other paranormal activity does. Once you look at it, or once you start talking to beings like that, and they give you that answer, it doesn't really satisfy anything. It just leaves you with more and more. Now, and this was at a house, place you lived with your sister before you moved into the busy place.
She has followed me. I would say 7 years now, almost. This would be the 7th year. She's literally followed me through every move I've had, all of my relationships, like everything.
No, she's the only constant spirit you have?
Yes, she's the constant one.
Now, when you moved into the place you're at now, near the hospital and surrounded by energy and graveyards, give me kind of a list of characters that you have bouncing around in there now, and how you tell them apart, and what they do.
So when I first moved in, I would wake up in the middle of the night and scramble for my phone because I was convinced that someone had broken in and someone was in my living room. And I was so scared that I was shaking so hard, I literally thought I was going to snap my neck. And I would grab my phone and I would just listen, and I would hear someone just walking around my living room, talking to himself, opening up the fridge. I would hear him peeing in the bathroom, like completely like it was a person. And then this kept happening. But then I would realize, like right before I would actually call 911, I'd realize, oh my God, it's a spirit. It's not really a person. It's a spirit. And
were you actually seeing them at this point, or just listening to them in the living room?
At first, I would only hear them. And then slowly I started seeing this one man that I kind of, in my head, he kind of looks like a Bruce Willis. He's tall, he's bald, and he usually doesn't have a shirt on. And he's always just pacing around in my living room. And he's a good listener, though. He doesn't, like, I've told him, you cannot come into my bedroom. You need to, like, leave me alone when I'm, like, it's my time of rest, you know, and he's good like that. He listens, and he's always just right by my door. I can see him, but he never actually comes into my room when I'm sleeping.
Okay, so you've got Bruce Willis with no shirt, and who else do you have?
And then we also have this other guy that it maybe about 3 months ago was the first time I met him, and he told me that he lived in Langley and that he committed suicide. And he has a beard, and he's I would say maybe like 36 years old. And he just told me the saddest story. And I just remember just watching him in awe and not even believing that I was communicating with this guy, and he could hear me, I could hear him, and he's saying these things that are just crazy that I could never even think of, like myself in my head. And I just remember asking him just straight up, I was like, do you like where you are? First I asked him, what are you? And he looked right at me and he said, I am universal energy. And then I asked him, do you like where you are? Do you like it better than like living? And he like thought about it for a little bit, and he told me he does, but he just misses his family.
Okay, so for a listener, Langley is a small community about 25 minutes east of where Aida lives in New Westminster in British Columbia here. Coincidentally, the hospital that is a block away is the place, if you were a person with mental health issues, you would be taken to that hospital by either social workers or the police or somebody who found you acting out.
And also he told me that because I couldn't believe it. I was like, you committed suicide? He's like, yes. He's like, my family was so mean to me. And I would always say, I'm going to kill myself. And my family was like, you know what? If you're going to do it, just do it. And that was kind of the relationship he had with his family. He's like, so I just did it. And
did he say where he did it?
No, he didn't.
I wonder if he attempted suicide and they rushed him to the Royal Columbian Hospital and that's where he died.
That would make sense. I could see that.
Or again, you just seem to be an antenna for these people, and they bounce up all over the place. So he's the bearded guy. You got your shirtless Bruce Willis. Who else do you have?
There's a couple more. There is this one guy. There's a couple mean ones that are very inappropriate. I don't like them, and they scare the life out of me. But there's this other one who every single night sleeps beside me. I will wake up and I will literally have arms around me. Like, I will look down and I can see this like man's arm around me, cuddling me. And right away, my no matter how many times this happens to me, my initial reaction is to freak out. And I will just start freaking out, and I'll be like, get away from me, get away, please leave, please go, please go. And usually they'll leave, but sometimes they don't. Every single night, this guy sleeps with me, and he snores so loud that I wake up from his snoring. So usually at night, like when I'm like about to fall asleep, or like I wake up from my sleep, like I'll just be hearing this extremely loud snoring. It's always the same snoring. It's the same voice. It's the same guy. He sleeps on the same side, on the left side of me, and it's every single night.
Now, I should tell the listener, Aida was game to have a game cam set up in her bedroom, one of those game cameras with the night vision. And she sits up and she talks to them, which is, we thought, okay, I'm gonna film this when she sits up and sees them and talks to them. Well, we set this thing up for quite a few nights, and one of the this also records audio, and it was very close to where she was sleeping. And one of the things we caught was she gets out of bed, goes into the hall, goes to the restroom in the middle of the night, and you still hear him breathing, like a man breathing. And then the other thing we caught is Aida moving some of her sheets around, and there was a little peak, like let's say a little like mountain, a little ridge, just a little mountain bump in her sheets. And that bump actually started to rise. And as it got a little more pointy, a perfect golf ball size orb comes popping out of the top of it, and the sheets kind of drop down again. And we've also got, and we'll play these for those of you who are some of our patrons through our Patreon account can not only listen to the audio on YouTube, but we'll get you into watch it. And we're going to play a few of the little videos that we caught in our place. But I'll let you explain. So we've got the Bruce Willis, we got the beard fellow, and we have the snoring creeper. Who else? And
then there is the randoms that come through every, like just ones that, I'll see one night and I won't see again. But I have always had a problem, every building I've ever lived in, with complete creepers who think they can just touch me and say weird things and just be really, really creepy. And those are the times that I wish that I wasn't so sensitive, because like I will literally tell this creep, there is girls in room 9010, like go over there, please go there, there's a hot blonde there, just go there. Those are the times where I really wish that I wasn't so sensitive, because it's really, really hard going through things like that.
You were telling me once you woke up with a lady speaking in your ear, whispering. Have you seen her or heard her lately?
That was an Asian lady, and no, I think I saw her maybe twice. And also I woke up not that long ago, I'd say maybe a month ago, and there was this Asian kid, younger, and he still had a hospital mask on. And he was kind of, I would say laying down. But I also, there's a lot that come through, a lot. Like I see a lot just standing in my room, as crazy as that is.
You were telling me once about a lady who you kind of befriended, a bigger lady that was kind of volunteered to straighten all the other spirits out.
Yeah, and she did. I woke up and there was this very tall, very, very, very tall lady standing outside of my room, and I could tell she was nice. And I remember she was dressed very scantily, like almost like in a bra and a panties. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, who are you? Who are you? And she said something. I couldn't really make out what she was saying, but I could tell that it was good energy, and she kind of had like this protective thing. And I told her, I was like, come in here. I was like, coming in here, like into my room. And she kind of bends down to come in, like under my door and my door frame. And she tells me, well, if I come in, I'm staying. And I said to her, well, if you're going to stay, then can you please like protect me and make sure these like a-holes that come in here and think they can do whatever they want, could you make sure they don't come around or don't do that? And she said yes. And I would say literally for like 2.5 weeks after that, it was so calm in my room, so calm at night. Nothing was waking me up except sometimes just the girl that pretends to be my sister, but nothing else, and the snoring guy, but nothing else. Nothing was bothering me, touching me, nothing was scaring me, nothing was stealing my energy, nothing.
When you said you could tell by looking at her, or when you looked at her, you could tell that she was good, can you describe the difference between what you see or feel is not what's negative compared to what's positive?
I think I know the second I open I see it. The second I see it, it's just the energy, like it just goes right through me. And I can tell if it's like just a chill spirit walking through, or if it's a complete like weirdo and it's just there to completely mess with me. It's just one of those things you just know right away.
Any animal spirits around?
Yes, a lot. I have a little puppy, Tito, and he's not a puppy, but
it's real though.
Yes, he's real. He's 7 years old, and he sleeps on my bed. And so many nights I will wake up and I will see like another dog on my bed. I'll see cats on my bed, and I'll see like exactly where I'm seeing this dog or cat. There's this one white dog that I see a lot. I see it a lot. And every time I see it, right at that moment is when Tito will jump exactly on that area and just start doing this like thing where he's kind of digging in that area. And I know that he can see it or feel it, at least feel it if he doesn't see it. And yeah, so I definitely do see animals, yes.
Now, again, when we were doing all the videotapings, things like that, you say you see them, you sit up and you talk to them, but we actually caught you sitting up, but not saying anything out loud, and probably still just sitting up and in your sleep. But it was that night you said, oh, it was really busy. I was sitting up, I was talking to them, it came in. And what I saw was you sitting up, and the game cam records sound, no sounds. What have we decided about that?
I think we have decided that when it's happening, I think that I'm actually sitting up and I am talking, like I think I'm completely speaking loudly, but really, which was so crazy for me to see, and it was really cool because I didn't know what I was going to find. I was like scared. I'm like, what is it going to look like when I'm talking to these people? But I guess what it is just me having this extreme out of body experience, and I think I meet them on this level of spirit. Like my spirit meets their spirit. I can fully see them, fully hear them. And I've even asked them, is it weird that I can hear you? And they'll say yes. And I'm like, is it weird that I can hear you and like you can hear me? And they're like, yes. So it's weird to them, but they know I can see them. That's why they come. That's why they're always there.
I wonder if they think that you can help them or something. I know that some spirits they hang around the empaths, the high vibration people, because they think that we can help them cross over. Or again, we're the ones that feed off of us. They'll hover over top of us, that whole sleep paralysis thing, and feeding off the adrenaline when we get frightened. Do you have a lot of that too?
It's ever, like, as far back as I can remember, I would honestly say almost nightly, where it is just terrifying. It's different though. There's those that I have those, and then I have the where it's calm and I'm just speaking to them and I'm not scared. But then there's like the other night I was telling you, I'd say 2 nights ago, where I woke up and this guy was just hovering over me, on top of me. And I couldn't move. I was freaking out. I was trying to move and scream and I couldn't. And all I could see was him just staring at me. I was mortified. And this happens so much. And it is, I don't know, like anyone who's had it will know how terrifying it is.
Yeah, I brought 3 of them home from your city about, was it January 4th, 2017, the day I retired from being a policeman. I was driving to the airport to pick up my daughter and I ended up arresting somebody on, like, the police were chasing the person and I just got my nose in it. And anyway, I went and arrested the guy and I guess my adrenaline had spiked, and that's what Skeeter said. And then they brought these 3 guys home with me, and I'm usually good at getting them off of me, but this one didn't. With 3 of them holding me down, it was a little awkward. So we had to deal with him the next day, and eventually crossed them all over. Is show up remotely, and what would you like to know from Skeeter when we bring her in?
I am so excited for this. I just want to see if she sees and feels the people that I've seen and felt. I mean, it would be interesting to see if she picks up on the girl that has been with me for a while. And it would just be interesting to see if she picks up on the guy that committed suicide and just the other 2 that are always there. And just to see what she says. I don't know. I'm excited.
Oh, very cool. And so to recap here for all the people in there, we've got the little girl who's been with you for years, the Bruce Willis guy with no shirt, the fellow with the beard that committed suicide, snoring creeper dude who sleeps with you.
Those are the mains.
Those are the main guy. And then you had an Asian lady a couple of times, young Asian, was it a boy or girl with the wearing the hospital mask? Little boy, and the tall woman in the bra and panties, and various other randoms that come and go. What we're going to do now is I'm going to bring Skeeter Wellhouse, the Blue Moon Weaver, our wonderful psychic, into the conversation. And again, she hasn't heard any of this. This is all pre-recorded. And what we're going to do now is we're going to shut this down and we're going to bring her in and she's going to do her thing and kind of show up and see what she feels that are in these rooms. Hang tough. We are going to call Skeeter now.
Skeeter has been working in the paranormal and psychic field professionally for the last 5 years, having had an eclectic collection of experiences with various paranormal events and phenomena since she was a toddler. Skeeter has always felt she was a part more of that world than she is of this one, but she has only recently begun sharing her insights in order to assist her clients, that would be people like you and I, and others through their own experiences. Skeeter's primary loves include past life work and necromancy, which is working with the dead utilizing ritual and magic. It's not that other necro thing. Although recently, Skeeter says she's experienced a lot of ET and cryptozoology kind of energy working hard to catch her attention. She is currently working out of our office down in Tacoma, Washington, using her talents and skills to assist others while penning her first book, The Trinity Chronicles, due out in October 2020, probably Halloween, knowing Skeeter. And it's all based on her own past life memories and experiences. She's also preparing to host Tacoma's first spirit pagan focused paranormal conference in order to create a wider circle for experiencers like us and believers to gather and share in a fun and educational environment. So look forward to that. I'll be there. I have a booth coming up at the Paranormal Conference in Tacoma, Washington. Skeeter, welcome.
Hi, how you doing, Ann?
I am doing fine. And you talked to you a bit earlier, and you've been really busy down out of the offices now in Tacoma?
Yes, I am located downtown Tacoma now in a lovely haunted building.
Oh, what's your address?
It is 1102 8th Street in what is known as Courthouse Square building.
Oh, lovely. You're like an original courthouse square? An old courthouse?
It is a courthouse. It is the original federal courthouse in Tacoma. It now houses the post office.
Nice.
I think the post office has been here a long time, though. But yeah, it's deliciously haunted. I'm in one of the old lawyers' offices just down the hall from the courtroom.
Now, did they have executions there?
No, but if you go down into the basement, you can see the old holding cells, and you can definitely get some energy down there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened up on the 5th floor, but I promised him I wouldn't bug him at night, so I don't go up there.
All right. That's his floor. Whatever. Well, we've brought you in. We had talked with a friend named Aida who's experienced some things. Now, I'm not going to get into what she's experienced or where she lives or what her place looks like. And I was wondering if you could focus and see what you can get. And I'd be curious to know a little bit more about Aida. Did I say Aida before? Aida and her energy and what it is that she keeps sensing and feeling around her.
I'd be happy to help with that. Let me just get in my big chair. So I'm going to be chill and happy.
And sit in a happy chair.
Yes. It's a big old comfy chair right in the middle of all my altars, so I can sit and focus on what I need to.
And I have my pencil and my paper.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's all I do.
So, Aida, right?
Yeah, Aida, but it's A-I-D-A? A-I-D-A?
She's the one with the 4 ghosts around her.
She most certainly would be.
The first thing I hear is a complaint about she's in a smaller space now.
Mm-hmm.
They're not impressed by that. Who's not impressed by that? Who's that? Is it available? So it's a male energy. It looks like I'm in a living room space. I don't feel like I'm on a ground floor, but it looks like I can see outside fairly decent. There's definitely one male energy. Okay. He's the one in charge. Is he human? Yes or no? Mason, is he human? Yes or no? Okay. Oh, wow, that's cool. Mason confirmed that it's not a human. He said he's not human.
Okay.
He was presenting himself as human. He was looking kind of like a tall male, dark hair, kind of broad but not muscular. But then once Mason confirmed he wasn't human, it's kind of like he shifted, and now I can't see him. It's kind of fun. One of the new things is that when I'm actually able to call them out, it's like they're like, "Oh, you can see past that."
Oh, yeah. Who are you?
Yes. Getting past the cloaking devices is actually kind of a neat new thing.
Well, it's something you now. Just so my listener knows that you have a tendency of dying every so often and coming back with
new tricks.
Yeah, and you did have a step to the other side a while ago. So this is one of your new ones.
Yes.
Good God.
Is actually being able to. So if something presents itself to me anymore, and it wants to present itself as human, which a lot of spirits, deities, energies want to do because, well, we tend to be more sympathetic towards fellow human energies. If it doesn't feel right to me, I'm learning to ask. And then once it's confirmed it's not human, it's like the mask comes off. And some energies really don't like that. They're like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I don't know, but it's really awesome, and you got to come back here so I can see what you are. So it's a new feature. I got an upgrade. It's awesome. So I'm following him down what looks like a really short, almost corridor, mini hallway.
Yep.
And there's a door if I'm looking straight ahead, I want to say it's to my left towards the end. But weirdly enough, I want to enter it from the right at the end. So I'm going to go in through the door on the right on the end, even though I'm pretty sure the door is on the left at the end.
Okay.
I'm following him wherever he went. It looks like I'm near a bathroom. Because there's piping.
You say piping?
Yeah, like faucet and plumbing, and it's like in the walls.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the walls piping.
Okay.
Okay, we're coming round. This isn't a single occupancy home, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. Because, yeah, they like to venture into the neighbor's space. So I'd be curious what the neighbors have to say.
What? Now, is he giving you a name?
No, in fact, he's kind of trying to lose me right now because I could see.
Yeah.
Mason, is he still around? He's still around. Where is he at? He's in the bedroom. Okay, let's go towards the bedroom. Mason says he likes it in the bedroom. It's his territory. He likes to play with the sheets.
Okay.
He likes pulling them. That's his biggest trick, is pulling them. Pulling them off, up, what? Just pulling on them. Not off, but more up. It's like tucking in, but more like pulling them up over himself, next to her.
Interesting. What does he look like in his real form?
He's almost, what little glimpse I got of him, it's almost like a dark matter form. Not shadow, but like actual dark matter. Like that thick, inky black. But it was almost illuminated.
So it's not really a basic elemental then?
No. He's something a bit more complicated. He says I'm far more intelligent than that. So he's more complicated than that. She's he said something about did he say she's mine? She's one of mine.
What does that mean? She's one of mine.
That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
If he can elaborate on that. She's one of us. Yes, she's one of us. Yes, she's one of us. What is one of us? EP. Okay.
E.T.?
E.T.
Okay. Extraterrestrial.
He's kind of tapping in. So, remember when you were kind of helping me talk at AlienCon?
Yes.
I think we could probably do that with him if you feel up to it.
Okay. Let me just explain to the listener what that was. Skeeter basically went into, the easiest way to say was a trance, Skeeter?
Yes.
And you were, I was actually speaking directly to the being that Skeeter was channeling or what came through in her trance. And there was a lot of stuff. It was an alien con down in Pasadena, California, and there was imagine a building filled with people who've had experiences with ETs, and the occasional ET walking by themselves. But that's what we were doing, and getting information from whoever it was wanting to speak. So we'll give that a shot. You just tell me when to go.
We're ready, he says.
Excuse me.
You're excused. He says he's ready.
Could you tell me what your name is?
Not English.
Okay. Do you have a name you'd like me to call you?
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel or Ezekiel?
Ezekiel.
Zeke. E-L. How old are you, Ezekiel?
Several thousand years.
Do we have a picture of you? Did we capture you on a camera? What were you doing?
Yes. I was tucking her in.
Okay.
We chatting.
Chatting. And were you over top of her, or did you come up out of the sheets?
Next to her.
Or? Okay.
Under and over, next to her.
Okay. Can you tell me who else is usually around her?
There's a grandfather energy.
Was that her grandfather?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. She attracts others to her that are lost. They need help.
I understand there's some beings or energies that are with her consistently.
All the time.
Could you describe, she's described what they look like to me. Can you describe what they look like to you and maybe to her?
Some are human. Some elven fairy is, yes. Elven-like, long faces, long features, hollow but light eyes.
So elfish or elven-like, long features, kind of deep-set eyes. I said deep-set, you were saying hollow. So
yeah. But lighted.
Like illuminated.
Yes.
Okay. Have they been with her for a long time? Those elven ones?
For 10 or less years. 10 or less.
Okay. Who is the little girl that appears to her?
The little girl is following, mistakes her for mother. She's mischievous, but not dangerous. She is human.
What's her name?
Sally.
Sally. Has she been with...
But her given name is Suzanne.
Suzanne?
But she likes Sally.
Okay.
She had a doll named Sally. That's why she likes the name.
She had a doll, or did you say?
A doll. She had a doll named Sally.
Okay. How long has this little Sally girl been with Aida?
A long time.
Okay.
It's someone she met as a little girl.
Oh, so they met each other in real life?
Yeah. No, in the little death girl met the living girl.
Oh, I see.
They may have seen each other as if she were living, but she wasn't.
Okay. Does she show up as anybody in particular when she drops by, Aida?
She likes to take the form of an angel.
Of an angel, but nobody that you know of that Aida would know in real life.
Yes.
Do we know who that would be?
It's an aunt.
An aunt, okay.
But I don't understand human relations, but it's a female family, but not blood. Does that make sense?
No, but if that's what Ezekiel says, then I'm going to go with that right now. And we may come back and touch on that. Is there? Can Ezekiel describe the male human ghosts that are around her, like a description of what they're wearing or what they look like?
Older man. It's a grayish suit. Older. 1940s style suit.
Mm-hmm.
Though the style may be modern, it's dated.
Yeah.
Black trousers, not a formal suit.
Okay.
What they would call a work suit.
Okay.
But he's very relaxed in it. Not formal, just proper to wear a coat.
Okay. Do we know what his name is?
No.
Okay.
Mustache is a noticeable trait on his face.
Mustache, okay.
Well, it's groomed, but bushy.
Alrighty. Hair color at all?
So, he used to be brown.
Okay.
But salt and pepperish now.
And whereabouts did he drop in from?
He was on a property she lived. He followed her light.
Oh, okay. Well, it's starting to remind me of some people we had back in Eastern Canada that had the guy who was glowing in the dark had every spirit from 100 miles around show up at his house. Now, is he the only male, or can Ezekiel tell me about a couple of other males there?
There's several more.
Oh.
The male energies are most drawn to her.
Mm-hmm.
Not many females. The little girl shapeshifts into most of them. She wants her trust.
Oh, okay, so she'll shapeshift into a male?
Of other female forms.
Oh, I see.
She's not necessarily a nice little girl.
Susan isn't?
No, she wants attention.
Okay.
She's seeking love and will take the form that brings it to her.
Yeah, okay, that's making sense. Now, you've, and again, I'm talking to Ezekiel.
Yes.
How long have you been with Aida?
Before birth.
Before birth. And Ezekiel, you know what a spirit guide is?
Yes.
Are you a spirit guide?
No.
Are you there
I'm
with?
soul.
How are the spirit? I beg your pardon. Go ahead, sir.
I'm family assigned to oversee and make sure she awakens appropriately and safely.
All right. Is Ezekiel, are you the one who's touching her inappropriately?
No.
Who is that?
That would be the younger man.
Could you describe the younger man?
Dark features. Dark eyes. He smells of not regular alcohol, but a rum or heavy bourbon smell.
Okay.
Almost a cigarish smell, but not like it's on fire. Just the tobacco scent.
Okay. Is he the... Tell me what he does.
He'll enter the room and he'll stare at her. Normally at the side of the bed, or at the foot of the bed. But he likes to be on the side of the bed more often.
And does he crawl into bed with her?
If he's at the foot of the bed, he'll crawl under the sheets and up into the bed.
Okay.
If he's at the side of the bed, he'll sit and lay down on it.
Ezekiel, if this fellow was laying down beside her, could she hear him doing anything, or
breathing?
She would hear him breathing.
Even a gasp or a moan.
Okay. Does he sleep beside her sometimes?
He doesn't sleep. He lays there watching.
Okay, that's not creepy at all. Any description of clothing, Ezekiel, for this fellow?
Bib overalls, denim, old. But he'll shift clothing.
We'll try to get him to
sometimes,
shift.
Sometimes it's jeans. Always a t-shirt. It's like a white t-shirt, no pockets.
Okay, and how about hair, if any, or mustache, or
thicker? No mustache.
Thicker hair.
A shadow, thicker hair. Name starts with M.
Could it be Michael?
No. Matthew or something like that.
Matthew? Okay.
Matthew or Mark. It's a Bible name for sure.
Martin?
No.
Okay. Mark, Matthew. We're going to go with, we'll call him Matty. Do any of these humans, can we talk them into stepping forward and see if we can get them to move on?
They trust her to cross them over. That don't know that she can't.
Yeah, that's probably something she's not going to be able to do for a while.
No, it's not her talent.
Yeah, she would like them to cross over.
She wants them to leave.
Yes.
She's asked them many times. Matthew is attracted to her. He's earthbound.
When you say earthbound, what do you mean?
A soul that is not ascended.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I'd like to get Matthew moved on. Is there something Skeeter and I can do?
Skeeter?
Oh, this is a psychic friend of ours, Ezekiel.
Oh. Yes, she can.
Okay, good. Ezekiel, is there anything else you want to pass on to Aida?
There are items that she unwittingly brought with her books, pictures, things hidden in the pages. Also, when she left, she didn't tell them to stay. She just left.
Right. I agree.
And the energy followed her. She needs to learn to not open the door. She's very curious and has a tendency to see, but she looks, and when she looks, she calls it to her.
Yeah.
And when you invite energy to you, you're inviting it into you.
Yes.
And so she has made ties with them.
Yeah,
her curiosity got her into trouble.
Yeah, I could believe that. Ezekiel, she actually had associations in this life with a lot of people who did terrible, terrible things. Murderers.
It's her contract.
What do you mean by that?
She agreed to work with energies that needed a board, a sounding, and to be the focus. It's put her in harm's way, physically and mentally. But she has to learn to differentiate and associate what different vibrations are, and to identify what is not safe to heal and what is safe to heal. And she has yet to learn not to heal those who have no desire to be healed, but rather to use.
Okay. Yeah, her peer group are either in prison for multiple murders or dead. So
yeah,
very much connected with the gangs and the underworld up in Vancouver, British Columbia. And she's a very, very interesting being to have floated in and out of that group. But this goes back to when she was even 14 years old. I think she's 30 something now.
Before that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a real interesting, like I say, peer group. But if they're not dead, they're in prison right now. And she's it appears like she's about to awaken. Ezekiel, when do you think she's going to...
She's already begun.
Okay.
That's why good. They're intensifying.
That's why they're all showing up?
Yes. It's like a light or a candle that's now become a beacon. And why they're convinced that she can heal them, but she can't.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it's we'll definitely be telling her not to venture down that path until she has her Swiss Army knife and a compass.
It's confidence. She lacks confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
She's too scared to fail.
Oh yeah, she doesn't even want to venture down that road because she's not confident enough. Well, I'd like to be able to help her. I'd like to talk to Matthew and get him over, get him moved on.
He's gonna be hard. He's physically attracted to her. He doesn't see her as different from him.
Yeah.
She leaves her body and consorts with him on another plane.
Yeah, but it's like there's no consent on that other plane.
No.
Because she leaves I believe she leaves her body all the time, and because she doesn't have a lot of control over it, but she complains about the assault and the abuse. So she would like this guy gone.
We'll have to teach her to not do that without rules and boundaries. It's difficult for her even on this plane.
Okay. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to, as far as you know, Ezekiel, we're not going to be able to move him over relatively quickly. All right. How about any of the other ones? Anybody else would like to leave today?
The others we can leave. The others can leave. They are willing to go if someone can show them the way.
Okay.
I will be staying and helping.
Oh, good. Good. Ezekiel, are you going to be able to keep Matthew away from her?
I'm not able to yet. I can't infringe on her free will yet. She has to learn.
Oh, I see.
She has to learn to define and ask for help. It's like a child saying, please fix me my toy, and then they break it instantly and ask you to fix it again. I can't help her until she realizes that once it's fixed, she can't go back.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's her choice. We can do, but she constantly undoes.
Oh.
And we can't infringe on that anymore. Human free will.
Thank you, Skeeter. And with that said, we're going to have to leave this episode and pick it up in the next episode. You're not going to want to miss this. What do you got for us, Liam?
Next time on the Oracles with James Tyson.
A friend was gunshot. Why was she with someone who had been shot? She was with someone who had been shot, and it drew his energy to the scene. He saw her taking care of the man. I want to say it's a male energy that was shot.
To the long, endless night, and I live in the absence of light, and my shadow has life of its own, watching you while you sleep all alone. I'm condemned to the long, endless night, and I live in the absence of light.
All right, that's it. Let's roll. And hey! Let's be careful out there.
Far over the snow, what are those voices? Love.